What's good, gangy? What it do? We back. Welcome to the crew. If you new, like, I'm about to hit your baby mama like a dyke. No, I'm playing.
What?
Hey, nah, man, we back with another video though, man. If you new to the crew, make that like button blue or black, whatever color it is. No, I don't fucking know. But yeah, subscribe. Let's grow this family, man. I don't like to call y'all subscribers. I like to call y'all family. This is a family channel where we expose the truth and nothing but the truth. So without further ado, let's get into this shit, man. Subscribe, like, and let's get into it. Now, before we get started, you might think you know who your favorite artist is, but I'm sad to say that you don't. Most of these artists put up facades, they fake, and most of the time they expose themselves. You just gotta pay attention, open up your third eye, and just watch and just observe. Like, that is how it works. But let's get into this video. The dark truth about industry plans, how record labels make superstars. Let's get into it, man.
The truth is, we have all heard the term industry plants, and most people have somewhat of an understanding of what an industry
I
plant
don't
is.
even know who that
The
is.
thing that people don't know
Everybody
is that
know who
more
that is.
artists are actually industry plants than you realize. I would actually debate that there's more industry
I don't know
plants
who
in the
that is.
music industry than artists that exploded without record labels' help. There's a sinister reason
Don't know
behind
who
why
that
the
is.
industry operates
Heard
this
of
way.
him.
They need to be able to control every
Look
aspect
at that.
of
Look.
what they
Look in the
present to the
background,
public.
bro.
Industry operates
that,
this way. They need to be able to
Evil.
control every aspect of what they present to the public. Join me in this episode as we uncover the dark
Lil
truth
Mosey.
about industry plants. An industry plant, for those who don't know, is an artist that is discovered by a record label before that artist has really anything going for them. The artist doesn't really have much of a fan base or an image, but is either talented or very well connected in the music industry. After signing the unknown artist, the record label would dedicate the time into perfectly molding the artist before presenting them to the world. They
Mold them up. Burn them down. That's how they do it.
will create an image for the artist, then hire big time producers and engineers to work on their music. They even coach the artist on how to talk and carry themselves in public, crafting the perfect background story, giving the artist their own agenda. After they completed preparing the artist perfect background story, giving the artist their own
She got
agenda.
a gummy worm or something?
After they completed preparing the artist and they feel ready to
The
present
fuck, he
the
got a
artist to the
cigarette
world,
hanging on his
agenda.
ear?
After they completed
What is that?
preparing the artist and they feel ready to
Yeah, I
present the
don't
artist to the world, they then start to pay media outlets to promote the artist's music, having the artist be presented everywhere, even paying big money to big playlisters to get artists placed in upcoming music playlists. The record label does all this in secrecy, working carefully behind the scenes, making calculated moves in order to show no association with the artist. The artist is now being seen by the audience as a rising independent artist. As the artist gains the support of the fans and starts to blow up, they then sign the artist publicly. There's two main reasons why record labels create industry plans. One, to limit the possibility of signing an unprofitable artist that would essentially cost the record label millions. And two, to assure that they can get the artist to sign a bad deal and have complete control of the artist. Artists that are industry plants didn't have anything going for them before they were signed. They might have had talent, but still had little to no fans, and most likely nothing really professionally recorded. They were either found on Instagram.
They gotta get the dumb ones, the ones who is gonna play perfect in their agenda, the ones who that's gonna promote killing, sex, all the low vibrational shit that they've been promoting for the longest. That's the ones that they want.
Instagram or YouTube, or they're connected to someone that is already working in the industry, either a family member or friend. The record label takes full advantage of this, knowing that a young, hungry artist is willing to take anything as long as they can become a star. So the record label will sign the artist most likely to a 360 deal with a terrible royalty split, like I explained in my video, The Truth About Record Labels. If the artist happens to blow up, the record label makes millions while paying the overworked artist crumbs. The record labels rake in money from streams and touring, all while the artists believe they're making themselves a fortune. The artist doesn't really know what's going on until they realize they didn't really make that much money. That's when we tend to see
Look.
artists go online
Whole time, look, Lil Uzi. And if y'all do sign to a major. Don't sign to a rapper or a DJ. It's just easier when the time come for that fake shit. Lil Uzi, bro, he might not want to say it, but that nigga's getting fucked out of his money, bro. Like, that's just what it boils down to at the end of the day.
lash out on their labels because they made millions but didn't get paid what they expected. The record label have done these practices since the beginning of the music industry. Many big name artists are industry plants. Artists that aren't really even thought as being industry plants are industry plants, especially artists that blew up before the internet became what it is today. When social media took over, artists were now able to connect directly to people who they can turn into fans. So if an artist was truly talented and had an entertaining image, they were now able to promote themselves on Instagram in hopes of building a fan base and eventually being discovered. Before the internet, this was impossible. Without a record label, an artist would not go viral and not be able to go mainstream. Most independent artists back then couldn't even get into a studio to record music. This would lead these artists to join talent shows and perform at local open mics in hopes of being discovered by an A&R or a talent scout.
That old school
artists
shit.
will have no-
That's when artists back then, before Instagram, before social media, before everything, they had to really go out hand to hand, more physical contact. That's back then, back in the Tupac era.
No idea how the music industry works and is just interested in making it in the music business at any cost. This meant that artists had to practice endlessly so they can perfect their craft, and then had to pray that they would end up in the right place at the right time and the right person would be in attendance. The artists will have to perform the best performance of their lives in hopes of impressing that A&R. This made the odds of actually making it in the music industry very low, and also put a lot of power in the hands of the record labels. When the internet first merged with the music industry, it caused major disruptions to how record labels would operate in the music business. Physical music sales died, and artists were now building a fan base independently without any record label support. Record labels needed to adapt to the new changes and became determined to find a way to make the new changes work in their favor, which they eventually did, gaining their desired control once again. Some of you watching this video may think that an industry plant isn't that bad. At least they get to make it in the music industry, and you wouldn't mind being an industry plant yourself. Yes, there may be benefits of being an industry plant, like having a major record label behind you, pushing your music in there.
Bro, one of the biggest industry plants that they ever promoted was Lil Nas X, bro. If you think about it, he made that first song called Old Town Road. Had all the kids into it. Had everybody listening. All eyes on him. Then he turns around and makes a song with him dancing with the devil, and the devil's twerking on him. Him doing acts of gay things. Hey, I ain't got no problem with no gay people, but if your content is promoted to the kids, you can't just push that on them like that, bro. Like, that's wrong. That's part of the agenda that they promote. They promote everything that goes against nature, everything that's backwards. Like, he's the biggest one out of all of them all. It's crazy.
Directing you on what needs to be done in order to make your music buzz, but it comes with way more negative than it does positive. A perfect example of this was the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys were a huge pop group in the 90s and sold over 100 million records worldwide.
I never listened to them.
They were discovered after Lou Pearlman launched a nationwide talent search. He then signed them to his record label and molded the young artists to be superstars, putting the artists through what they described as a talent boot camp. After 2 years of hard work, he made the group successful. And after they accomplished selling 10 million records, he handed them their first official actual music check. He paid a grand total of $10,000 to each member, which left the artists confused and disappointed, having to sue in order to see any more money. Being an industry plant means you belong to the record label because the record labels made you. This also makes artists...
He spent 30 racks. Probably made millions off them boys, man. That's crazy.
Disposable, because if they can make an artist once, they can do it again, making the artist completely replaceable. Once the record label sees an artist losing momentum, they stop funding the artist and set them aside.
And that's when they kill them. Because once you kill an artist, what happens? More eyes go on them, more traction, more clicks. More clicks equals more revenue, more streams. And 9 times out of 10, the same artist they killed is the same is the same setup they got for their royalties, for all the royalties that they made go to them instead of the artists. So it all makes sense.
Songs that the artist already made will make the label money for years to come. While if the artist is lucky, get 2 to 3 years in the spotlight. A great example of this is like we saw with Lil Pump. Lil Pump was picked up early by the Lights Global off of Instagram when he only had a couple thousand followers. They worked him on Instagram, investing money and time into making him blow up. They then partnered with a major label and cashed out when they signed Lil Pump to a major deal. After Lil Pump had his one big record and started to lose momentum,
that's just another example of how they just sign anybody. As long as you go along with the certain agenda that they got, and they'll just sign you, and you'll be on like that. But you gotta, it's not worth it. Your soul's on the line. See, they ain't gonna tell you that. If you want to make it big, you gotta get that soul up.
Realizes it's time to cut losses and just collects money off existing successful music by Lil Pump, no longer providing the artist with the needed attention and support to be mainstream. An independent artist who happens to grow a buzz naturally without label support is in a much better position to work out a proper deal with a record label. They have their audience as leverage when negotiating a deal with the record label. This also forces the record label to give the artist bigger deals in order to try to persuade the artist into sharing what they're already making and what they're going to be making in the future. The artist has a better chance of having some creative control when they're independent, because the record labels see that the artists have something successful going for them already, so they feel more comfortable allowing the artist to do their own thing. Most industry plants are heavily controlled. The record label strategically creates an image for the artist. These personas
heavily controlled. They're puppets. You gotta do what the labels want you to do. You gotta rap what the labels want you to rap about. And you already know what they gonna want. They gonna want that agenda. Kill this. I just killed him. Spin on your block and I spin a Benz. And then we back again. And we, you know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna, so you, and say you don't want to rap about that. You want to rap about something inspirational, motivational. Instead of spinning blocks all day. They gonna throw you to the side and you ain't gonna be able to make no more money. See, that you're a puppet. That's tough. You're a puppet. That's why you want to watch out for these evil ass artists that y'all listen to, man. On some real stuff, bro. Because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, they just pushing the agenda. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it boils down to.
Are designed with 2 main purposes. One, to create interest in the artist, making them appear more out of this world. Designed with 2 main purposes. One,
another
to create
example right
interest
here. Come on, bro.
In the artist, making them appear more out of this world, and 2, to spread agendas that they benefit from. This is the reason most artists rap and dress the same, spreading the same destructive morals. This is how they use artists to control fans. They use artists to build and spread whatever agenda needed. Industry plants sell out the moment they're willing to be wherever the record label tells them to be. If the industry plant refuses, they're quickly shelved and their careers are over. Independent artists can avoid this entirely by just building up worth before even considering a record deal. If you would like to see a video on how to be a successful independent artist, comment independent artist below. If 250 people comment independent artist, the next video will be on that. The record labels have been the gatekeepers to the industry for years. They have most of the control on who makes it big. The truth is, it doesn't have to be that way. Artists don't need to be industry plants in order to find success in the industry. In 2021, you have everything needed to build a successful career in the music industry.
That's facts.
It's just not as easy as selling out and being guided all the way through. Good things required hard work, dedication, and time. This is the same for a good music career. Not all industry plants meet the same fate. There has been a couple artists over time like Drake, who himself is an industry plant, who used his connections first to get into Hollywood, then into the music industry.
Drake.
Artists like this are willing to do anything to continue to be in the spotlight. They become big names and learn how to maneuver with
Drake, didn't he just get arrested? He probably did some crazy ass, I ain't gonna say the word, but something to do with the little ones, the innocent ones, probably something to do with that. But they're not gonna tell you that. They not gonna let you know what these rappers is really going to jail for. But that's a whole nother video. We gonna get into that here soon though.
In the industry. The problem is, taking this route requires you to be able to lose all morals and essentially just be a brand, standing up for whatever fills your pocket with money. An industry plant might be the easiest way to make it to the top of the industry, but it comes at a large price.
It ain't worth it, man.
Most
it ain't worth it.
Pay that price simply off desperation of making it. Others are tricked into thinking that this is their only way in. This is what record labels want you to think. With the required steps and talent, artists can have the success they truly need without having to ever be property of a label. Thank you for
Facts,
watching
man.
this episode of The Truth Is.
Hey man,
If you would
look.
like to further support
Shout
the
out to The
channel,
Truth Is,
join me
bro. Y'all already know. Original video link will be in the description of this video. But yeah, if you are an artist, man, go independent. It might take you more time. It might take you more money for the videos, the editing, the hire everybody to put your production together for your content, but it'll all be worth it in the end. You won't have somebody over you that's telling you what to do, how to do it, how to dress, what to say. Essentially, you could just have your own channel or your own, your royalties, your own music, your own style, everything that's original to you. So my advice is just go independent, man. But yeah, shout out to The Truth Is. But that's basically it for today, y'all, man. Keep in mind these evil ass artists, man. Like, just keep your eye open, bro. Keep your third eye open. Just see shit for what it is. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It's been your boy Caleb, and we out.